Okay, back with part two, and that was maybe one of the longest 3 minute reviews ever, but we'll keep this lesson short and sweet. Pretty much we got through most of the stuff that we wanted to cover with the Homer example in the 3 minute review, but there's a couple more examples here. This one's typical from yesterday. We want to solve for r. Right there it is, right there. We want to get r alone. Well, how do we do it? Whoops, we have to get rid of all the stuff that's around it, right? Oops, what's going on here? A little lost. No, I'm okay. We have to get rid of the stuff that's around the r cubed, right? So I'd like to cube root, but this t squared's in the way. What's the operation between the r cubed and the t squared? Well, it's divide. So the opposite operation that I'm going to do is multiply, right? So I'm going to multiply both sides by t squared. Opposite operation. So multiply both sides by t squared. Multiply both sides by t squared. Cancel those. I got t squared k equals r cubed. Well, now how do I get the r alone? What's the opposite operation of cubing something? Well, it's cube root, right? Cube root. Cube root. Opposite of cube is cube root, and there's the formula. And this is actually another physics formula, believe it or not. It seems like all of our formulas here are from physics. This is from Kepler. Kepler came up with this formula. I think that's why it's K. Solve for t. If I want to solve for t, well, what's the first operation? Is we don't like having the thing that we never have something in the bottom as the answer, right? We never ever do that. So we got to get the t squared sort of back up on ground level. And it's the same first step as we did up here. We're going to multiply both sides by t squared. Multiply both sides by t squared. And then on this side, it cancels out. And you say, well, hang on. I thought we were solving for t squared. Now we got r cubed on this side. But we've got t squared on this side. And then all I have to do is get rid of the k. So what's the next operation? Well, I'm going to divide both sides by k. You probably wouldn't rewrite this step. I just rewrote this step because it was a mess from me crossing it out up here. Cross it out up here, and now what am I left with? K's are gone. Got r cubed over k. If I want to get t alone, how do I get t alone? The last operation is to get rid of the squared. How do I get rid of the squared? Square root of both sides. Think of that, square root of both sides, and there I have it. There's that formula. Last example. A softball has a volume of 900 centimeters cubed. What's the radius? We actually solved this, right? Back in unit 2 when we did all that measurement stuff. Softball is a sphere. We want the volume formula, so we'd have to look that up. Remember, on your exam, you're going to be able to write as many formulas on a formula sheet as you like. But this is sort of the unit 2 style. This is how we would have solved it back then. We would have said the volume is 900. The radius is we don't know. And now, how do we solve for r? I've substituted in. Now let's solve for r. I'm thinking about getting rid of all the stuff that's around the r. I'm going to cube root at the end. Well, I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. It's kind of like the 3 gets multiplied up there. That's 2700. I'd like to take the cube root, but this is in the way, so I got to divide by 4 pi. Divide by 4 pi. Make sure you have brackets in there, otherwise your calculator will goof you up. And then cancels on this side. R cubed is 2700 divided by 4 pi is around 214 decimal something. And then the last step is to cube root. Right? How do I undo a cube? I cube root. And notice how I'm working down the page. It's sort of like equal sign stays in the same spot all the way down the page. And then there's my answer. Hang on, that's not my answer. My answer is around 6. R is about 6. There's a softball. Has a radius of 6 centimeters, 6.0. I had to round up there. The other solution I wanted to show you, this is the substitute and solve solution, right? This is substitute first and then solve. We could have rearranged this for R first and then substituted it in. I wanted to show you that in case that's the way that you would have thought to do that, right? So here, what I could have, oh, this is actually the same way that I did before, isn't it? Exactly the same way. Let me pause and I'll give you the good way. All right, the method two way, now that I fixed it up, is to not substitute right away, but to rearrange, and we want to get a formula for R. We see that we want to find R, so we think about getting R alone. Well, we multiply by 3, and then still thinking about getting R alone, divide by 4 pi on both sides. The 4 pi's will cancel out, and then I'm left with that. Formula looks kind of nasty on the left-hand side. Even worse after I take the cube root. Essentially, we did the same steps last time, except for these were just all numbers, right? And so then we've got a formula for R. And then all I have to do to actually calculate what R is to substitute in and then use my calculator. Notice that, watch your brackets here. You want to use your brackets on your calculator to get this right. 6.0 centimeters. You should get it the same either way with a smiley face. Okay, that's it.